Alright, basic controls tutorial time. We can press the left stick to move and we can go into the menu to go to the controls settings and change the controls to be more like the PC version. We can also grab our nearest source of video game hydration, which for me is Vitamin Water Zero, lemonade flavored and other natural flavors. Let's see what it says here. Grandma's back at it again. Gameplay graphics and hugging mechanics are much improved from what the fuck am I reading? Hey, Vitamin Water, can you send me, like, the PS2 50-cent game? I broke mine, like, ages ago. The old man is right, and we will die many, several times, but that's because this is a roguelike. The first class we're going to play as is Adventurer. We only have that class right now because this is a new save file, because when you start a new game, there are 2 cutscenes that you get. This game is very short on cutscenes, but it does have these 2. We don't have anything to customize ourselves with yet.
You. You. You.
And so the gameplay starts. These shoes are a usable item, and if we equip and use them, we will run faster for a brief period. Not terribly useful, but it is a mandatory item that you get when the game starts. So these bats will home in on you. They'll flash and charge towards you whenever you reach a certain distance from them. And these tiny goblins are the easiest goblins to fight in the game. They're very stupid, they're very weak and fleshy. The most important thing about this game's combat... So, ooh, we got a new bow. Very powerful bow, doesn't shoot very often. The most important thing to remember about this game's combat system is that you are in control. Okay, these are jumper slimes, and when they get close enough to us, they will jump and try to... Well, he already exploded, so I'll tell you another time. Anyway, the most important thing to remember about this game's combat system is that you are in control. If you time your attacks properly and don't rush in, you can get out of any combat situation. It's just very hard. In addition to our basic swing and bow attacks, we also have a downward stab, similar to like DuckTales or Legend of Zelda, or whatever you want to compare it to. And that's very useful. Our melee weapon has a basic 3-hit combo, as you've seen, and the final hit briefly pushes enemies back, which makes them open for a small period of time. We got the Reaver Sword, which comes with considerable drawbacks, but it does deal more damage and we don't have to sacrifice speed, so we're going to use it for now. We also got an eyeball that shoots with us whenever we fire an arrow, so that's pretty nifty. It makes it easier to hit people. These little orbs are blessings, which change our character's abilities. We got the Nimble Blessing, which changed our movement speed, noticeably so. So, spikes in this game deal 80 damage. I've seen a lot of people complain about the spikes. I've played this game for over 20 hours and maybe died to spikes 5 times. They're not that big a deal. They're way more forgiving than spikes in Spelunky, for example. So, as I was saying before, these jumper slimes, when they see you, they'll try and jump at you to make you explode, but they are easily jumped over, and then you shoot at them from a distance. I've also seen people complain about those jumper slimes, and I find them very easy to avoid. The most common complaint I see about this game is that it's too luck-focused, but most of the challenge in the game comes from the combat, and the combat, as you're seeing, has almost no luck elements in it whatsoever. Is the combat difficult? Yes. Is managing all of the enemies' behaviors when they group together on later levels difficult? Yes, but you're always in control, and you have to tell yourself that, or your death is inevitable. Your death is never inevitable unless you give up and believe everything is chance. Yes, chance will play a great deal in whether you actually finish the game, but that's not because the game is being unfair to you, that's because it's just a hard game. I'd say there are very, very rare instances where damage in this game is unavoidable, it's just that you have to think insanely fast. But it should be humanly possible to do a no-hit run of this game. I just don't think anyone has or ever will. It just should be possible. That's all I'm saying. So potions in this game work like scrolls in traditional roguelikes. You don't know what they are until you drink them. And drinking them is very detrimental to your health a lot of the time because many of them have negative effects. That one gave us rage, which just makes us stronger, so that's not so bad. And the other one gave us health, so that's like pretty great actually. That's a really good roll. We just got an Ascension rune, which returns us to the top of whatever floor we're on, and a Pandora's box, which causes a random effect when we throw it. That one made fire happen. Just a general note, you want to stay away from a Pandora's box when you throw it. We're getting to so much stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this game. A lot of it comes with downsides though, so you want to like look before you equip it, or you could end up severely ruining yourself. Especially with the melee weapons. So sometimes in this game there are blocked off areas, as in Spelunky, and how we get into those blocked off areas is we either bait a jumper slime if there's one handy, or we drop a bomb. And if we drop the bomb at the right time, we can kill the slime as we drop it, but that really is luck. And it seems luck is on our side right now. This shrine right here costs a lot to use, but it does give us full health if we use it. However, let's not right now, because we almost have full health already. I am playing this on the Switch. It came out on PC first way back in 2017 was the full release, in 2016 it was in early access. Did you know that this game still got updated after it was initially released? And I don't mean like fixes, I mean like content updates and stuff. That always feels weird to me. I feel like when a game is done, it's done. But I don't know, maybe that's outdated thinking. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, the adventurer class we're using right now, he starts with bombs and an apple. We've already ingested the apple, though, and used one of the bombs. Well, that jumper slime helped a little bit. Let me have... The Blessing of the Ballista gives us a chance to fire a larger, more powerful arrow, as you just saw, because you can read. You know, you can read these. Why don't you just read them yourself? Alright, if I can read them, you can read them. That big door over there, that big ominous door, means we're about to fight a boss battle. And the boss battles, unlike most games, even roguelikes, the boss battles are randomly chosen from a pool of every boss fight. And this time we got Deathrig, the Ashen Wraith. So Deathrig's attacks are actually pretty easy to avoid. And most of the bosses have a special period of time where they're more vulnerable. For Deathrig, we can jump on his head when he's doing this, and it makes him fall down, where we can deal much more damage to him. Then he disappears, and summons a bunch of orb guys to help him out. The orbs can be attacked with both range and melee weaponry. Which one you want to do depends on your loadout. You can usually bait them down for melee attacks if you really want to do that. And sometimes it'll work. Here's one of Deathrig's other attacks. This one's even easier to dodge. Not a terribly intimidating guy, Deathrig is. There is a boss that I have a lot of trouble with. Like, when I see him, he's almost a guaranteed run ender for me. But that's my own fault. I'm just bad at fighting him. You only fight like 4 bosses before you get to the final area and fight the final boss, so if you just get really lucky rolls, you won't get any of the bosses that are hard to fight. And things will be okay. But life doesn't always work out that way. You know? Sometimes you don't get Death Rig. Sometimes you get Chrono Boyd. I think that's his name. But yeah, the bosses usually have very simple attack patterns. And it's all about memorizing their attack patterns and figuring out when they're most vulnerable. But I've died more to bosses than regular encounters, I think, up until recently, where regular encounters started killing me more. This game has quite a learning curve to it. You can play it for tens of hours and never see the ending. Much similar to myself. So after you kill Deathrig, he summons these 2 orbs, or maybe these 2 orbs were his eyeballs or something. And if they line up just right, you can do this, and utterly destroy them with your downward stab, and it's great, and I love doing this. Easy peasy. That blessing's going to be very useful. Well, probably shouldn't have drank that one, but, you know, how else was I going to figure out what it did? There is actually an answer to that. You can drop potions, and orcs will drink them, and you can see what effect they... Excuse me, my throat was feeling weird. You can feed potions to orcs, and orcs will drink them, and then you can see what effects they have based on what they do to the orcs. Should probably have cleared up my throat by drinking more Vitamin Water Zero, lemon-flavored, and other natural flavors. I'm sadly not actually being paid by Vitamin Water, but if I were, I would use the opportunity to make jokes about 50-cent video games and talk about the design of 50. That was entirely my fault. I jumped right into that jumper slime like an idiot. That was my bad. So I think you've gotten a rough idea about how CaveBlazers works. You go 2 levels and then you fight a boss, and then you go 2 more levels and then you fight a boss, and so on. And we're going to go through the game, or we're going to try and go through the game as every class. I don't know if we'll succeed, but if we don't succeed after we go through every class, then I'll show myself beating the final boss in an extra video. But we're going to play through, sorry, not play through, but we're going to play the game as every class. So that way you get a good feel for the various perks and abilities. Oh, fuck. See, that happens sometimes. You press the wrong button and then you die. That's just how it goes. But after you die, your score gets counted toward experience, and you unlock shit based on your score. So that's pretty neat. You unlock new classes and new clothes this way. And then, you know, after you die, you just try again next time. And next time we're going to try a different class on a different save file. Also, there's some hidden clothes up here. Just 'cause, I guess. There's just a fun secret up here with some hidden clothes. Anyway, I'll see you next time.